We have extreme cold starting to build across Siberia all throughout the week. You can look at the extensive cold dome of air starting to build. In fact, just the last couple of days, we've seen widespread 30, 40, 50, upwards to 60 below zero. In fact, just yesterday, it was 73 below zero. That is extreme cold, and it's not like that unusual across this area of the country, but it is typically a sign, because that colder air can't stay there forever, that possibly some of this may try to sneak into the lower 48 in the next couple of weeks. So for this week ahead, here's what we're looking at. We're looking at the overall jet stream lifting well to the north, and we've got a lot of moving parts happening. This is the southwest winds going to be kicking in, plenty of warmer conditions, but we're waiting for our cold front and our next storm maker. This storm maker is going to be shifting southeastward, heading towards the Rockies, and eventually head towards the southeast, and that's going to kick off our beginning stages of a full gauntlet of weather, from severe storms to tornadoes to heavy rain to heavy snow and very high winds, even possibly some power outages as we head towards Sunday night into Monday. So definitely a lot of moving parts in the weather department. And so if you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns, hit the subscribe button and you're in. You get all my daily content on this channel, and I would love to reach 225,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and you can help me get there by subscribing to the channel and following all my daily breakdowns. So here's the setup going forward for tomorrow, heading into that Friday time frame. We've got this pocket of colder air. That is the area of instability, this vorticity that's going to be swinging in from the west coast in the beginning stages of our significant storm maker. In the beginning, there's going to be a quick changeover from rain to snow across these areas, across portions of the Rockies, but you've got the warm sector out ahead of it. Plenty of warmer air. In fact, some record high temperatures could be broken the next couple of days. And by Friday, we're going to have to start watching this upper level lift across this area as the overall jet stream starts to dip. So to the north of there, we've got that colder pocket, and some of that snow is going to be breaking out. And out ahead of it, you're in that warm sector, and that's when we start to be concerned about some severe storms. So there's the surface map heading into Friday afternoon. We've got an area of low pressure starting to develop across eastern portions of Oklahoma, while we're waiting for that colder air and that pocket of changeover to all snow across these areas across the Rockies. We all do have a little bit of a system that's coming in portions of Montana and heading through the Dakotas, but really the main event starts on Friday going into that Saturday time frame. We do have the beginning stages of some severe storms that we got to be concerned about into Friday afternoon across southeastern Oklahoma. Yes, that does include the Tulsa region. It includes far northeastern portions of Texas, as well as the Little Rock region up here towards Springfield, as this will continue to deepen and strengthen as we get into that Saturday time frame. So as the high resolution guidance is starting to come in, it only goes out 84 hours. So now we're going to get a better feel of how all this storm is going to evolve. So what this happens is that a big change that's happened over the last couple of days. Now that we're seeing this system come in, it's going to be a lot more progressive. I mean, it's a lot faster. And the upper level low is not going to be able to dig as far south. And so that way it's not going to be able to tap into the colder air. And then that's going to be a lot more progressive. So the low doesn't deepen as nearly as much. So we still have the lift on the southeast side. We still get the severe storms on Saturday, probably heading into that Sunday timeframe further south within the warm sector. But since these upper level winds have flattened out and this other low pressure does not phase with the northern side of this, look at the low now. It's 1,001 millibar instead of a 986. That's a significant difference. So the cold air doesn't catch up with this low pressure. So that way we have the severe storms on the south side. So we still have to be concerned about all three modes of severe storms heading into that Saturday time frame, into East Texas, into portions of Arkansas, heading into Louisiana. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center still has that risk. In fact, they've shifted it a little bit further to the east and showing that more progressive movement with this system. So now the concern for your Saturday afternoon is highlighted across East Texas into Shreveport, back into the Little Rock region, but that's likely going to be shifting all the way into Tennessee by then, heading into Jackson, and eventually heading towards the Birmingham region going into the day on Sunday. So here's the temperatures for Saturday. So this is your Saturday afternoon high temperatures. We've got the cold front coming in on the backside. So as the cold front will come in, you've got drier air on the backside of this cold front, right? So out ahead of it, you've got the warm sector. I mean, look at Louisiana for highs well to the 70s. You've got higher dew points. That is the warm sector. That's why we've got those severe storms in place, as that warmer air will continue to shift further off to the east. So yes, on Sunday, down here towards the southeast, could possibly even be portions of the Carolinas would likely have to be concerned about severe storms. So going into Sunday morning, this is what it looks like. We're going to have a secondary low developing across portions of the Appalachians. There's the low, and this time it's going to slow down just enough. So now it starts phasing with that northern side. And it's going to allow that colder air to come in the backside. So we're starting to see the beginning changes of that changeover as this low deepens. Now we've got more of the Gulf of Mexico to tap into, and then eventually we'll have more of the Atlantic to tap into as these stronger storms will be coming up the eastern seaboard. And as they do, it's eventually going to become an intense wind maker and some very high winds heading into Sunday night, especially heading into possibly Monday morning. So there's the colder air coming in during the day on Sunday, as we'll have time to catch up with this system as these systems start to phase together. And as they phase together, the colder air will come in on the backside from the west to the east. And as this starts to ride up the eastern seaboard, that's when it's going to start becoming a fairly intense wind maker for this region. So you got all the heavier rain to the southeast, you've got some severe storms to the southeast, and then the very heavy winds will be coming up. And eventually all this into New England will actually start as all rain. So all the snow you got into Vermont and New Hampshire and back into Maine just the last couple of days will all start to melt with that rain coming in and the very intense winds. But the colder air is going to be coming in on the backside. And so there's are some of your potential wind gusts as we head into Sunday night, going into that Monday morning time frame. So yes, power outages is a likely concern across this region, with some 50 upwards to possibly 60-mile-per-hour wind gust up here towards into portions of the Northeast heading into New England, as this powerful low pressure center will be racing up the eastern seaboard. And as it does, finally the cold air will come in on the backside. So these two low pressures start to phase, they start to merge together, will allow that colder air to come in on the backside of this system. So we'll start to see a changeover to all snow. It could be a heavy snow back into Ohio, into portions of Kentucky by then, into West Virginia, into western PA, western upstate, into New York. And this will continue to move across into New England and eventually change back over to all snow, where you get all the rain. So it's just going to be a sloppy mess up here across portions of New England as we head into Monday morning, with very high winds, 50, 60 mile per hour, some wind gusts at times, heavy rain screaming up the coast. And then on the northern side of that, all snow as you're trying to make it to work across this region. So definitely could be concerns of power outages across this region as we head into Monday morning. But the good thing about it is by Monday afternoon, it's gone, right? It's a fairly progressive, fast moving system. Everything is pretty cleared out by the time you head or try to get back home from work. Most everything will be racing out and out into the open waters by then. So now let's highlight what may be to come next week. So next week, we've got an area, we've got the cold front, right? So the cold air comes in, and the newest update from the Climate Prediction Center is kind of hinting at a pocket of that colder air to kind of stick around for areas further to the south, across the deep south. And it's also implying that we might actually get some decent rains actually coming back for a good part of Texas as we start the middle part of next week. So that would be a sign the more subtropical start jet stream. You look at California, maybe some rains coming back for this region. So yes, most all this activity as of late has been kind of east of the I-35 corridor. We've never really had a shortwave starting to develop across this region to provide the lift to allow any rain across these regions. West Texas been bone dry across these regions. But by the time we head into the middle of next week, there's definitely some of that beginning signs as that colder air just kind of sticks around. We've got a pretty intense shortwave going to be developing by then. Now, this won't be until Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, but it's also a good sign for these areas that haven't had much over the last couple of weeks. California into the desert Southwest, back into New Mexico, further south. We're talking some possibly. So with that colder air, yes, we could be seeing some beneficial rains coming back for California, into the desert Southwest, snow into the higher elevations, beneficial rains further south. And some of this may actually finally start to sneak into West Texas, possibly Central Texas by then, by the time we head into the middle to end of next week. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me next update while I protect you for and after the storm.